What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Tammy Talks here. Love and Marriage Detroit. I hate this show so I do not like this show, y'all. Season 1, episode 8, Whine Tasting. If you're brand new to the channel, or you are a returning viewer that is not yet subscribed, y'all go ahead, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, thumbs up the video if you enjoy it. Let's try to get through this episode, y'all, because everything is stupid. It's a bunch of unnecessary manufactured beef. What I think, because I don't think any of these couples were actually friends. It's showing the cracks and whatever story that Carlos tried to put together is cracking. It's clear that Anthony and Brandon are not friends. It is very, very clear. Because how do you go from being friends of 20 years to now everything that either one does is a problem and y'all are arguing about it? This is silly. So we're still at the Shut Up and Pray brunch with Christina and LaToya. Christina shuts down the conversation. We're not going to do this here. I'm going to end it. LaToya looks stupid because you were ill-equipped for this conversation. You should have never carried your ass over there and tried to do this at her pray brunch anyways. You the main one talking about you don't like causing scenes in public, and you pick a prayer brunch to try to cause a scene? Come on, Dr. LaToya, we got to do better than this. So LaToya feels that Christina is being condescending. If she was, you are starting an issue. You have an issue with her over something that doesn't concern you at her brunch. How do you expect her to react? So Kobe walks over. LaToya is now saying that Christina said that she doesn't like Brittany. Christina said she never said that. LaToya said, well, my husband wouldn't lie. LaToya just, she wasn't ready for this. She wasn't ready for this. LaToya and Kobe leave right after that. Kobe was like, do you guys want me to set up schedules and get things together? Christina's like, no, I don't, Kobe. We can just talk about it on the trip. We can talk about it on the trip. So we get ready for this trip. They're on the Sprinter van and they're playing a game called Out of Bounds. Bravo and his wife are there. Why aren't Bravo and his wife on the cast? Does anybody know? Because Bravo has been in almost every episode. Why didn't they just put them on the show? When they get to the house, which is gorgeous, very, very beautiful house, out at this vineyard that they're to see. She fills him in, Bravo's wife, I think her name was Lakita, fills Bravo in on the brunch with LaToya and Christina. And he was like, get ready, because it's only going down from here. We're only going down from here. So they're at dinner. Y'all, why was Russell eating with that napkin in his shirt? You can't stay clean. You're an adult. You can, like, what? It makes me feel like he does that out in restaurants too, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that. So, LaToya wants to hash out some stuff first night, so then that way we can enjoy the rest of this trip. Brandon immediately apologizes to Kobe, okay? He says that, he's sorry for saying what he said about Kobe. It wasn't the right time to do it. It was not in retaliation for the anniversary thing, which we know it was, but he says it wasn't. He hopes that she can forgive him. They can move forward. She appreciates the apology. She didn't say she accepts it, but she appreciates it and said that trust is broken, though. She feels that now anything that she does, Brandon will say that she's copying off of Christina. Whatever. Christina brings up the brunch. LaToya half-ass apologizes. No, LaToya apologizes. She said, I'm sorry. LaToya apologizes for having that conversation with her at the brunch. Christina, in her confessional, thinks that LaToya comes to people's defense without knowing facts, which is true. We have seen LaToya do that a few times. And when people do that, it's because they just don't like you. LaToya does not like Christina. I hope we get to the root of why, but it's very clear that LaToya just does not like Christina. We saw that from the very first episode when they were at lavender farm, and she allowed her husband to talk to Christina the way that she was and sat there and didn't say a word. Latoya does not like or respect Christina. So Christina tells Anthony that she has never had a conversation with him about Brittany, so how can he say that they don't like her? They would indicate her and Brandon. Anthony tells oh, Christina then also brings up that Anthony is lying about the Harris thing, saying that he did tell Brittany about that. They should have brought Brittany up to dinner. That's who should have came on this trip, is Brittany. So Anthony said that he never brought up Russell and Kobe ever. He then said, let's call Brittany. Y'all see the look on Christina's face? When he was like, let's just get Brittany on the phone. Christina had that look on her face like, oh shit. So they called Brittany. Brittany confirms that Anthony said Brandon specifically never mentioned the Harris family. Brandon said that he never said that he didn't like her. Anthony said, well, that's a clear lie. Here's the thing. If Brandon did say it, Anthony, why does it bother you so much, right? Because Brandon himself is not doing business with Brittany. Christina is. I don't get why it is. It's almost like here's the real. Anthony and Latoya don't want Brandon and Christina using their publicists. I think that's really what it gets down to, because when you guys share a publicist and you guys are both on the show together, Anthony and Latoya want to make sure that Brandon and Christina don't get opportunities that could have gone to them. That's really what it is. So Brandon wants to officially agree to disagree, about the whole he said, she said, didn't. Said that they're cool, but in the confessional, Brandon said that he does not stand with Anthony because he feels that Anthony has an agenda out against him. And I know a lot of people don't like Christina and don't like Brandon, but I'll say it again. The real villains of the show are Anthony and Latoya. They're Anthony and Latoya. Y'all haven't liked Brandon since the beginning. I've heard people say that Christina treats people the way that Brandon treats her. What is the explanation for the way that Anthony and Latoya are moving? Because y'all can't say, well, Latoya is so mature. Is she? Is she? Are her actions giving maturity, y'all? Okay. Okay. So they're on the Sprinter van the next day. Everybody sends Latoya and Anthony. Latoya and Anthony have gone on to the winery because they, are meeting. I guess they're gonna do some business up there, so they're meeting with those people. On the van, Brandon says that Anthony is just Anthony, and he just accepts that. Meaning you can't resolve anything with Anthony. And I can see that just by the way that Anthony has interacted with some of them, with Brandon and Christina throughout this season so far. There is no resolve with him. He feels that everything he says is right and everything that he says is true. Is he lying about Brandon saying he didn't like Brittany? We would never know, right? Could it have been taken out of context? Yeah. Could it have been years ago? Sure. Why did Anthony bring it back up though? That's the thing. Why bring it back up and why make a big deal about it? If Brittany is still comfortable working with Christina, why do you care? Why do you care? So Christina then feels that she needs clarity with Latoya. She feels that Latoya makes her out to be the villain in every situation. Latoya here is part of the situation. If it involves Christina, she's automatically on the other side. Now, Kobe and Russell did what you're supposed to do by staying neutral, but you can see on Kobe's face that she kind of agreed with Christina. Latoya does have a habit of doing that. Kobe does take accountability in the site. I did, like, download the information to her. Christina said, and that's fine if you did. I have no problem with that. But Latoya goes into conversations with Christina, not going in to hear her side, but to go in on attack mode. And that's where I think Latoya goes wrong. She can say that she's trying to be neutral all she wants, but you're not. You have a very clear bias. You don't like Christina, just be real about it. So we're at the wine tasting event. When everybody walks in, Anthony and Latoya were both like, here, Kobe, sit by me. Russell, come sit right by me, man. Y'all acting like Brandon and Christina were going to run to sit by y'all anyways. I thought that was weird. They were like, that's childish with the seating charts. Okay. So Kobe wants to help Latoya create some content while they are at the vineyard. Meanwhile, they're trying to monitor Brandon's drinking. Apparently, Brandon got drunk at the wine tasting, to the point where he had like he was holding he was holding up like the wine glass, looking through it like this, trying to like see the different whatever. But did y'all catch how Brandon was like, you embarrass? I mean, yeah, Anthony was like, you embarrassing me. How is he embarrassing you? That's not your That's not your dude. That's not your husband. How is what Brandon is doing embarrassing you, Brandon? Lord, he looked like, don't Anthony look like a Brandon? How is what Brandon is doing embarrassing you, Anthony? I don't get that. They have a very weird dynamic that I don't care for. So the end of the episode, the ladies are out on a boat. Christina purposely sat right next to Latoya. She said to kind of show her, I don't have a problem with you the way that you think that I do. Meanwhile, the guys are out on the beach. Anthony, they start talking about the showcase. Anthony said that he's putting Lyrique on the showcase. Brandon immediately gets upset. He said that Lyrique is poaching people, or has in the past, poached his clients from Star Factory. He's not cool with him being on the showcase. Anthony said, I can invite whoever I want to invite. Okay. Bravo asks if there is an underlying issue with Anthony and Brandon. Brandon feels that there is hate directed his way. Anthony said he has zero reasons to hate on him. Anthony feels that he should be able to have someone from his staff there. Since when is Lyrique on your staff? This is where Anthony goes wrong. It's clear that Anthony is inviting Lyrique because he feels the way about Brandon in this moment, right? It's very clear. And no matter what you feel about Brandon, the fact that Brandon is able to clock this right away is valid. Then we see Anthony get into Brandon's face unnecessarily, and then when Brandon was like, man, move back, he's like, no, watch out, because I'm trying, man, stop. How are you mad that somebody is trying to push you out of their face? That didn't make sense to me. Anthony said that this is a waste of energy because he is going to have there who he wants on his staff to make sure that everything runs smoothly. He said that if he did have an issue with Brandon, he would have made sure the showcase didn't happen. No, you just tried to cut him completely out of the showcase. But like Brandon has said, the showcase says powered by Star Factory. Would anybody go to the showcase if Star Factory wasn't behind it? I think that's the bigger thing. Why didn't you just I don't know. Anthony has like, it's very weird. And I've watched a couple other reviewers, and I mean, we all can agree that Anthony wants to be the star of this show. That's what I get. That's what I get from this. He wants to be the star of the show. And what I think is that Carlos approached, I have to sneeze, it's not coming. I feel like Carlos approached Brandon and Christina about this show because they have relationship issues going on. And then it could have been, we can talk about Christina being an influencer. We can talk about Brandon and Star Factory, right? Then I feel like Carlos did some research, maybe found out that Anthony and Brandon know each other. Maybe at one point in time in their life they were cool. Maybe not so much now. Brandon, Christina pegged as the front of the show because they're the last two people. Anthony and Latoya got brought in as B characters, right? B list talent. Russell and Kobe got brought in as B list as well. Bravo and his wife is C list. Anthony wants to be the star of this show. And because Anthony was not brought in or probably originally cast as the star of the show, he is going to do anything he can to bring Brandon down. Because it is crazy to me how you can go from being this is your dude and I want to see you win and I want to help you with your career. What part of you helping him with his career is you out of 25 slots giving him 3? What part of helping him build his career is bringing in somebody that you know he doesn't get along with and that he is now telling you has been poaching his clients? Carlos did the show wrong. The show would have been good if we would focus more on Christina and Kobe in their life as an influencer, what they're doing with it, watching them, try to get brand deals, watching them do stuff. We ain't even seen them make a damn Instagram post. We have seen nothing. We haven't seen Christina do a photo shoot for Instagram. We haven't seen Christina pull out a camera or a tripod. Hell, if Kobe wouldn't have pulled out her tripod, we would have forgot that she's a damn influencer ourselves. We're not seeing these people actually work. That's the one thing about Love and Marriage Huntsville. As much as people hate that show now, we saw them build houses. We saw them open black. We have seen Melody with, what's her skincare called? 7th Avenue? Is that what it is? Is it 7th Avenue? 7th Avenue. We see Stormy working with Canvas. We've seen Kimmy broker some deals and get people to do whatever. We saw Kimmy going to work and coming home in scrubs. We've seen Maurice try to fix people's credit. Hell, we saw Destiny with her empty ass, store. We see Martell trying to study for this test. We see Letitia get a master's. We've seen Letitia Marcel, did I say black? Open up black and chocolate in a bottle and all this other stuff that we're doing. We see them actually do some work. They have the comeback meetings. They have the new comeback group when they had the Expo. So we have seen them actually doing stuff. So in the midst of watching them act a complete and utter fool, we can tell that these people are actually doing stuff in business. We haven't seen Latoya work on anything. We've seen her do that one half-ass tasting, but we're not seeing her actually sit down and have a conversation about her wine. I want my wine to do this, that, and the other. This is how I want my label to look. Reaching out to Kobe to do content. Is Russell buying an existing gym and gonna just run it? You know what I mean? Is Russell gonna change the name and make it a unique gym to himself? Is Russell just gonna buy it Anytime Fitness and sit back and be the owner? That's the part what does Anthony do? We've seen Anthony do quote unquote lookbooks, but we don't know what they're for. That is the part of Detroit that's missing. We don't know what these people do. You're not seeing them work. We are now talking about whether or not Brandon said he don't like Brittany for the 3rd episode. Who gives a fuck? He's not working with her. Christina is. If Brittany don't care that Brandon don't like her and she's still willing to work with Christina, why does Anthony care? Y'all know most shows get a 2nd season. This is not good. And I'm going to say it every episode. This is just not a good show. It's just not a good show. It's not. It's not. Let me know what y'all thought about it down below, though. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.